Welcome to a new season of Leadership Live podcast, where talented people become extraordinary leaders. I'm Daphne Horowitz, and I'm here to help you cut through the noise and talk about real leadership issues. Down to earth, solid, caring and confident leadership. No theory, no pie in the sky, no frills or fluff. Because this is what the world needs most right now. For you to lead with confidence, clarity and impact, so that you can build a business that builds people, grows profit, and makes a difference. Today, we have a story of following your passion, creating a business based on the things that you value, with a little bit of a David and Goliath scene thrown in for good measure, and definitely a lot to learn. Bret Caretsky shares his journey of going from a small, seasonal juice bar in Montauk to opening a coffee shop in New York, and then to licensing a lifestyle brand and drink. On the way, he and his partner created the unicorn drink, an idea that was then stolen by Starbucks. They fought for their invention, sued Starbucks, and won. And now they've brought the unicorn to life in their story and mission that has been the same from the very beginning of their journey, and that is to leave people and places better than they found them. As you listen to Bret's story, you'll be sure to be inspired by his no-nonsense approach to getting things done. He perseveres through challenges and lives his motto, to never give up. Have a listen to this episode and enjoy. And as always, for great leadership resources, head onto my website at daphnaHorowitz.com or grab yourself a copy of my new book, Weekly Habits for Extraordinary Leaders, available on Amazon today. Enjoy. So welcome to another episode of Leadership Live, and today I've got an interview with a very, very interesting and exciting guest. This is Bret Caretsky. Hello, Bret. Welcome.
Hi, Daphne. Thank you so much for having me on today.
I'm excited to hear some of your stories. And before we begin, I just want to give a little bit of an intro, Bret. So Bret is the co-founder and CEO at Unicorn. Now, Unicorn is a corporate licensing and lifestyle brand, which was founded in 2019. Now, Bret and I had a great discussion about what exactly this means, and I actually just think, Bret, you've bought the unicorn. You've actually brought the unicorn back to life and you've made it your own. So I think that's just awesome. You've brought the world of fantasy into our very real, tangible world, and that's going through quite a challenging time at the moment. So I'm all for bring in the fantasy and the fun and the joy and the laughter, which I think really is what Unicorn represents. And your company, Unicorn, champions self-betterment through promotion and engagement. The licensing strategy includes various brand collaborations, particularly in pour and serve, dispensing, CPG, and fashion. You can tell us about that, but I'm also excited to say that you're a natural performer and leader with a vision for a business opportunity and development. Your primary focus is really building a multi-product brand platform. And what really excited me is that your story around how in 2017 you took on a giant, which is Starbucks, and won that lawsuit. So I know your story a little bit from the beginning, of the juice bar in, where was it, Montauk, is that right? And then you kind of grew the idea and expanded it to the point where Starbucks took notice and copied you. And then you had this whole lawsuit, which you won. And here's where you're at today, creating this licensing company, which is really focused on bringing joy, bringing fun, and creating a lifestyle around your brand. So tell us about the bar in Montauk. Start the juice bar in Montauk. Tell us, I remember it started with a juicing machine just because you loved juice. Yeah. So start there, because I think that's fascinating.
Sure. So I'll give you kind of the fun, storyline of the unicorn and how it came to be. And telling the story is the best part, right? All the
Right.
business stuff is boring. But so I was 27 and I left my nice paying job, and my salary went to $0 for all of you that could have some empathy for that. Right. So I have a bunch of family and friends, and I grew up in a house where we always had a lot of people around, and but starting your own juice company is you don't really even know where to start, but you kind of just start. And
Right.
this all came very naturally for me. I didn't think too much about it. I was just kind of like, I'm going to be a CEO of a juice company. Like, that just came naturally to me. I didn't think about it too much, and now that I look back on it, it's a little strange. So I started.
So where were you before? What was your job before you started the juice company?
So I worked in risk management, finance, and
Right. Completely different. And then what happened? One day you woke up and said, I want to run a juice company.
I was living in New York City. I got really into drinking green juice. Made me feel.
That was it. You started because you loved green juice. Okay. So take us back to New York, working at this job, which is in financial risk management and all of those good things, drinking your 2 to 3 green juices a day and loving it. And then
I'm like, you know what? I'm going to start a juice company. And I built the company at my desk.
Okay. So it was just an idea that came into your head purely because you loved the juice.
That's it. Yeah. I mean, I was like, you know what? Montauk Juice Fact. Montauk doesn't have a juice bar. We should open a juice bar out there. There was nobody doing it. So I'm like, let's do it. So I just did it.
Amazing.
And but leading up to that, right, it's a lot, right? Like,
how long did it take from that time when you were planning it at your desk to actually opening up that first day?
Like 8 months.
8 months.
Yeah, I mean, it's a juice bar. I mean, it's a little different than what I'm doing now, which takes a lot longer. But yeah, I mean, it's much quicker. We scout a location, but leading up to that was like recipe development. So I'd be in my basement, like making green juice myself. Like I remember opening my fridge. Like I still have pictures of it, like of 30 mason jars, like in my fridge, like labeled like beet juice, celery juice, romaine juice. And then we started like mixing them all like by recipe and developing the proportions and then figuring out the names. I mean, so I approached a business partner, Madeline, she's still my business partner today in this venture. He's the one who actually thought of the name unicorn. Her and I and my younger brother, like after work, we would all meet up. Like we would go to work full day, and then we would take the subway to like the Upper East Side or find a coffee shop or go to another juice bar or whatever we had to do, we did, and we'd all meet up and we would just like crunch. We were just like,
amazing.
I can't even to this day like think like, oh my God, I can't believe we did all that. Like,
yeah. Just shows that you can kind of have a vision of something that you want to create that is different to your life that you're living at the moment. And you sit and you plan it and you do the work and you experiment with the recipes and then you make it happen.
Totally. A lot of tears, right? There's a lot of blood.
What was the hardest part in that journey?
Failure. Just failing like continuously at everything, like for everything. You're just making the drinks to customer service to closing your register to running a like happy store, to being late, to missing drop-offs, to wasting everything. You fail. Like that's what it's about. I mean, how well you fail.
Okay. Because that's what you learn the first time you I suppose arrive late and you have a whole bunch of angry customers or your employees across whatever it is that happens, you learn from that, or you create a whole lot of wastage. So you start thinking, well, how do I not? Okay, so then you had this, you opened the store, it was going really well. So I remember you telling me that the holiday season was actually what carried you throughout the year, right? In terms of doing really well. It was the only juice shop in Montauk, so that was really great. And
Oh,
then
the summertime, yeah, the
in the
summertime.
summertime.
So that was like our main steez, right? We had made hundreds of thousands of dollars in the summer, lines out our door, and then we'd have to kind of close up our store.
What did
So
you do for marketing? Did you basically literally just open up the doors and say, here we are, and people just came?
yeah, pretty much. I mean, only juice shop in Montauk. It's a really small kind of town. We're right by the beach, so very visible. People would come and go, like see our storefront, Montauk Juice Factory. You know, everybody like wants a juice when they get down off the beach. So it became just like a thing, you know.
So it sounds to me like there were quite a few factors. There was the location, there was the timing, there was obviously a good product, I would imagine. The juice was good.
Make great juice.
What else?
Great equipment. We also have
Friendly staff.
wonderful, yeah, great people, right? So people came to our store not just because like of the taste of our juice or that being like a thing in the Hamptons, like juice bars. But I think they came because they liked the people, right? Like, you know, you go to your favorite little cafe or whatever, and
Right.
there's an emotional level of it, right? Like you feel good when you're there. And yeah, I mean, we've celebrated all people from all different walks of life. I think we're very polite and cordial and welcoming and warm. And I think those are all the things that people want when they go to a restaurant, right?
And
Or
how many people were you working in were you actually working in the juice shop?
totally. I worked in there every day. Sometimes in the basement on my computer, sometimes in the kitchen, and sometimes in the front. Like I mopped the floors, I took out the garbage. But we had a manager, a general manager. We had like a social media person. We had a kitchen manager and then staff.
Okay.
So yeah, we had about 5 people working in there.
Tell us about the birth of the unicorn. Tell us.
Oh man. So my business partner and I, in order to like alleviate the gaps of marketing, because we were more of a summer thing out in Montauk at the juice bar, we opened a coffee shop in Williamsburg that could operate all year round. I got a kind of a lead to an available space and scouted it, slept in my car. This isn't like rich hipster Williamsburg either. It's like regular people, like everyday people, like blue collar workers, teachers, families. And so it still had that real like down to earth feeling about it, but it was struggling, like it was run down. So you know what, this could be like a cool project. Like someone like me, like that's what I'm looking for. Like I am not, I'm not looking for this fancy, flashy building. I'm 30 years old, whatever, 32 years old, and I'm trying to figure out how to launch a brand that organically from the ground up. So I'm looking for like grassroots kind of thing. And I'm like an artist in that way, right? I opened it. We operated like just losing tons of money every single day for like probably like 5 months, 4 months. And my business partner and I had thought of an idea, but we didn't want to launch it until we could get a ton of press. So we kind of positioned it to wait. We waited like until Christmas. So when there was a story to be told, we contacted some folks that we were close with at the New York Times about a unicorn drink and about our store and story for Montauk, and they picked up the story. I mean, they didn't have to pick up the story. I mean, we had no idea if they would or wouldn't, but they did. And from there, the drink just went viral. And we had thousands of people in line at our store. So we literally went from nobody coming into our store, like, and serving free coffee and like trying to get people in, to a line of 1,000 people, like, wrapped around the block. People would sleep in front of our store.
What,
like,
to get their hands on a unicorn drink?
Yeah, to get their hands on a unicorn drink.
So did you open the store knowing that you wanted to create this unicorn drink? Or when did the unicorn drink actually come about? I missed that bit.
So we had a plan to serve what is known as like superfood lattes, which at the time were like, nobody was doing that. And that came from our education at our juice bar. Mm-hmm. So we use like superfoods in our juices. So we're like, oh, why not just make lattes with superfoods in them? So we would start practicing, like, first started mixing our juices with like milk, and that was kind of like weird. And then we're like, you know what, we should just use superfoods, like dry powders instead of espresso or coffee.
Okay.
So then we started mixing it up, and we would come up with like really colorful ones, pink, purple, whatever, okay, rainbow for the unicorn. That's how it was it was like innovation, right? You're like innovating in food. And one of them, my business partner came out with like a beautiful menu with different drink names. We had a geode or purple amethyst latte. We had a mermaid latte. We had a unicorn latte.
Okay. And the unicorn is the one that kind of hit it off. That was what was picked up by the press. And then that was it. And then your shop just blew. Is that right?
Yeah. We actually had a horse like dress up as a unicorn in our store. Like, we had to get there at like 4:30 in the morning. And
what do you think it was that really appealed to people? Because as you say, you had an amethyst and you had a mermaid. Why did the unicorn kind of take such momentum? Why did the unicorn take flight?
I think it's psychological. It's good timing. People think of unicorn in a lot of different ways. Like, a mermaid's really only thought of as one thing. A unicorn, it's used in so many different contexts, which I think really strikes a chord. I mean, the drink looks like a unicorn. Like, you know, it's a turquoise drink. Like, it just looks like a unicorn. So on the business side, right, you're trying to trademark ideas, and you can't trademark descriptive in food and beverage. Like, if it's descriptive, you can't. If the name is descriptive of the drink itself, like, you can't trademark the term green drink.
Okay.
Right? If the drink is green. But a unicorn doesn't have anything to do with the drink. Even though it actually looks like a unicorn, it doesn't actually have anything to do with the drink, so it's able to be trademarked.
How does it look like unicorn? Is there a horn coming out of the cup, or what exactly?
Not all unicorns have a horn in the instance of our drinks. But we would put like a little cone on top sometimes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, so at what point did Starbucks pick up on this new trend?
I mean,
straight away.
I mean, within a few weeks of launching it. I mean, it wasn't 6 months. It was literally, or 3 months. It was just a few weeks after we launched it.
So what happened? How did you discover this?
I mean, I think someone sent it to me, like sent me a shot, like, look, they're making a unicorn drink. I had a trademark with the USPTO. Like, I had already trademarked it. It wasn't registered yet, but I was definitely first to file. Yeah, from there, I called one of my friends, and then they introduced me to one of their lawyer friends, and we ended up having Boyd Schiller, which is like super well-known attorney practice and law firm in the States. I don't know, David Boies, he's like, his son was like the associate on the case, and then we had a partner on the case too. But Alex and I have some mutual friends, so they ended up kind of helping us along and policing our intellectual property.
Awesome. So they helped you take on this cause. Was it clear to you you were going to sue and go the whole way? This was obvious, or was there at any point a moment when you thought, should we? Are we ever going to win?
Yeah, I didn't know what to expect. I'd never gone through anything like that before, so the only way to really know is to live and learn. I was young and trying to figure out how to like save my property.
Okay.
I think like from a legal standpoint, right, as opposed to the business side, from a legal standpoint, like I knew I had my work cut out for me, and we were just really thankful that we had great help through the legal kind of responses and correspondence. I think on the business side, it was very much less about that, right, at that time, as opposed to now when there's a issue in the market, it's less about the legal and more about the business.
Okay.
So, a different approach now than
so
then.
Are you saying that then there was a matter of principle here? This is something you created and someone copied it. You knew the law was on your side and you were going to go for it. Whereas now you're saying if something like this comes up, you will fight it because this is your business and your livelihood. Is that the difference?
So, yeah, there's a level of what you said that's true, right? It's just, so we knew we were with the Starbucks situation, we were in a legal fight, right? Mm-hmm. They weren't, we were going back and forth with them. Like it wasn't a slam dunk. Like our mark wasn't registered yet. They come up out of the blue with everything they have to fight that case. And then we eventually settled through mediation. However, now if it happens and it's in the marketplace, our counsel approach, because we've policed it already versus Starbucks.
Okay.
And our trademark is actually registered with the USPTO. We approach any IP infringement as a potential business partner.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Okay. So this is awesome. So I think what's unbelievable here is that here you are, a small coffee shop, really like just starting out, overnight success, and you are now launching into this crazy legal battle with a major giant. And I think that requires courage in itself. Like instead of, it's scary to Starbucks have got, I would imagine, way more even financial resources, legal counsel, all of those things are in place there. And you are really, really taking them on here.
Yeah.
So,
that was like
huge courage.
Mind bending, right? Like to really think about it. David versus Goliath, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. How did it feel to win?
Yeah, when I go back and think about it, it was kind of felt great. I don't know. My emotions in business are very like flat. Like I have like no emotion. I don't know why. It's like
maybe that helped you to actually deal with it, because I could imagine it's a very, very stressful experience to go through.
Yeah, you're kind of like, it was exciting. I'm like, holy crap! Look at all this. Look at all these people. The press is like all over this. I'm like, whoa. This is like a big deal. But, people have short memories, right?
Of course. Okay, so where did we go from there into then expanding into this licensing and lifestyle brand? How did that step? If you can just give us a quick overview of where you are today and how you made that leap, because now this is the next level of growth. You've really, shown us the journey of growth that you've been through.
Totally. The business side just becomes a little bit more complicated, to be honest with you. Um, yeah,
What
I
is
mean,
your mission? What is your mission today?
right. This is like, right. Our mission is always being the same: leave people in places better than we found them. So it's an empathetic mission statement. It's the same mission statement I had in 2014. Unicorn is now a C corporation, so that is its own complications.
Yeah.
Also, we're raising capital, which is its own situation.
Journey. Absolutely.
It's a sales funnel. It's a sales job. So we're raising $3 million of convertible notes on a $6.5 million seed round, which is massive. We are talking to investors every week.
So it's a completely different game from where you started off with actually making juices, experimenting with recipes, and now it's kind of completely the commercial side of building this business, getting the funding, getting it off the ground. But your whole thing is, the way I see it, is that you've given life to this unicorn, because when it comes to the unicorn and the unicorn drink, or whatever other form it will take, you've done that. You've birthed that. You've created that, and now you want to kind of release it into the world.
Yes, definitely. It's like one of those things where it's like just not giving up on something that
Exactly.
is great. There's so many great ideas out there that never make it in the commercial side, and I didn't want to be one of those people. I don't know. I have like that inner drive in me that wants to see this out, no matter what, how much discomfort it causes me.
Amazing. Good luck. Good luck. Good luck. I mean, what advice or learning would you like to share with people who maybe have a dream but don't know how to stick through the challenges, or are unsure about what's next? There's that place of real fear. Am I doing the right thing? Is it worth it? Is it going to work? What would you say to people who are sitting in this position? Maybe they have a dream and they want to see it into fruition, but they are sitting in this space of fear and not knowing and all of that.
I just want to say that, I'm privileged to be able to do this. Like, I come from like a family that, I can't afford many mistakes, if any at all. So I'm super cautious with the way I go into things. There's a lot of discernment that goes into decision making. Nothing is made like.
So what's helped you? What's helped you on this journey? So great, having that financial, resources to start with. What's next?
I think the idea itself, the name unicorn has helped me tremendously. It's like a magnet, right? I'm not out there really like, I'm allowing things to come to me. Like I very much am like that. Like I put myself out there, and then I see what sticks, and those are the things that I focus on. I manage my calendar really well, so I work off my calendar all day. So if I'm booking a meeting or I have a meeting, my time is towards that meeting, and I prepare for them. I take notes. Everything in my head is planned out before I go into that meeting, and then I try to never miss meetings. I obviously miss a few here and there, but like anybody. But
so you're actually saying there's a lot of thought and preparation and mental kind of preparedness, mental agility, and even maybe toughness to weather the storms and to make sure that you bring the whole of you to whatever it is that you're doing.
Yeah, a C corporation is really challenging. you want to license your idea in food and beverage. It's like the most competitive,
Yeah.
sector.
Exactly.
It's a challenge. Everything's a challenge. We were in an accelerator program. That was like 6 months. We have a holding company now. It changed the whole structure of our company. We had 2 stores. I mean, we've been through the trenches. I've been in the trenches, and luckily for me now, I get to do things that I love, like be on podcasts with you, Daphne.
Awesome. Okay, so on a lighter note, let's just ask a couple of questions just to get a little bit of whatever fun stuff, fun facts.
Yes.
So, did you have a unicorn doll when you were growing up?
I watched My Little Pony all the time.
Did you? There you go. You see. What's your favorite book, Bret?
Oh man, I'd say Business Adventures. Great book. There's like 13 or 14 different snippets in it.
Okay.
Warren Buffett. More boring.
Sorry,
book.
I didn't hear that. Just say Warren. What did you say about Warren Buffett?
It's his favorite book.
Okay, nice. Good recommendation there.
Right.
Are you a morning person or a night person?
Changes. I'm very I don't know why. Sometimes I'm like, I don't operate like on a very like strict schedule, like in terms of like, okay, I'm up at 7 this day. I'm up at, 6 this day. Sometimes I wake up at 7. Sometimes I wake up at 6. Sometimes I wake up at 5. Sometimes I wake up at 9.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I go to bed at 10 p.m. Sometimes I go to bed at 12:30. Yeah.
Is there something that you do first thing in the morning that is the same thing every morning, or not necessarily?
Totally, I make coffee.
Absolutely, I'm with you on that. I thought it was going to be like some superfood drink, or
Definitely not. I don't make any. Once in a while, I make a shake in the morning. But it's definitely, I don't make the shake first ever. I'll have coffee.
Coffee first. Coffee. I'm with you on that. Now, tell me, what's your biggest vice?
So I had this question on the last podcast. So I think, right? And I don't want to be too serious and like just go off a total tangent, even though I tend to do that. So, I mean, the most important thing to me, right, is never giving up. So
Okay.
I had some really difficult moments in my life, especially in my 20s and as a teenager. And in the United States, teen suicide is like at an all-time high. And I'm really, really passionate about never giving up on yourself. It's just mind-boggling to me that like pretty much almost every second of the day, a teenager is killing themselves in the United States. So that's my biggest advice. Never give up on yourself. There's tons of help out there. So there's always resources and hotlines and different ways to
Awesome.
talk about what you feel. Yeah.
And Bret, if I just connect the dots of the conversation that we've just had, and I do think you even downplay some of the qualities and the tenacity that you have as a person. It's a lot more than just financial resources or having the cash or, growing up with a measure of privilege that allows you to really face some serious challenges or come up with an idea and just go for it and do everything. And really for me, what I'm seeing is that never give up attitude, because you take something on and you do it to the end. And whether it's opening the juice bar in Montauk and designing it from your desk at the financial place that you were working at, or whether it's facing Starbucks and winning that lawsuit, or now creating this really big brand out of a concept that you came up with. And the whole brand and the whole concept is about joy, and tying that into your mission of really wanting to make a difference to teen suicide rates. It really all ties in so beautifully into a story that just really tells a lot about who you are as a person. So really I want to thank you. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Thank you so much for having me on today.
Yeah. I want to thank you for being here and for what you're doing in the world and just making your impact felt through who you are and what your mission is. And I can't wait to see you making a real success of it. So thank you. Here's to Unicorn. I wish you everything of the best. Good luck. And if people want to get hold of you, or how can people reach you? What do you, maybe give us a little bit of that, and we'll put it into the show notes as well.
Sure. You can email me at brett@drinkunicorn.com. It's Brett with one T. You can find me on Instagram at Bret Caretsky. Even the new Clubhouse app. I don't know if anybody else is on that.
I'm on it. Haven't investigated it yet properly, but I've just joined.
Really about it. It's Bret Caretsky. You can also find me on LinkedIn at Bret Caretsky.
Awesome. And all of those will go in the show notes, so people will definitely be able to get hold of you. And yes, I look forward to seeing that unicorn brand out there and making a difference.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Bret. This wraps up another episode of Leadership Live. Thank you for joining us today. And now let's continue the conversation. Do you have any questions, comments, or suggestions? Connect with me on LinkedIn or head on to my website at daphnahorovitz.com, where you can download a free sample of my new book, Weekly Habits for Extraordinary Leaders. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to share it with a friend so that I can continue to reach and support leaders just like you. So tune in next week to Leadership Live, where talented people become extraordinary leaders.